Hello everyone, this is Jerry again. Be talking to you this time about cash flow. Is cash flow always necessary? Well, there may be times when you can forgo cash flow, but I would be very careful. Often property just stands out in the neighborhood like a real jewel. In other words, you feel that the property has a very good chance of more than average appreciation because of the neighborhood and is located in and the homes around it in very good condition. The problem is you just can't find a way for the cash flow to be positive right now. It's not unusual if you buy a property with little or no money down that you will have a positive cash flow. Take another look at the neighborhood. As a tenant, would you pay more to live in this neighborhood than any other neighborhoods a few blocks away? Is there anything you could do to the interior or exterior of the subject home to increase rent to the point you could have cash flow? Usually there is something. One time I had a nice small home for rent in a desirable, quiet neighborhood. A prospective tenant called me up and said, "I drove by and saw your cute home for rent. I really like it, but does it have a dishwasher?" I said, "No, it does not," and she hung the phone up. That just shows you some people have certain expectations for the type of home they're hoping to find. So try to think what you could add to the home to make it more desirable to the point that the tenant would pay extra to possess it. It could be built-in kitchen appliances, updated kitchen cabinets, an updated bathroom. I would concentrate on the kitchen and bathroom. These are the two rooms to update first. For instance, don't worry about the garage. Women don't care about them, and only the guys care about garages. Guys will generally go along with whatever the woman's opinion of the home, and the garage doesn't matter to the woman. Keep in mind there's a point where updating or renovation will not bring you any more rent. In other words, you have peaked out. Look at the homes that are next door and across the street from yours that are in better condition than yours. So what would they rent for? Try to find out by asking your real estate agent whatever the value is, $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month. Do not try to surpass the local market rent for that age and type of home in this neighborhood. The result the result will be your home will set on the market with no rent income, or you will have to someone move in who really doesn't know the rental value, and they will shortly move out after they found somewhere else to rent cheaper. This will leave you to clean up and possibly repaint the interior again to rent the property once more, but this time at a reduced figure. Calculate the figures again with the new rent and the money you spend on new renovations. Is it still negative cash flow? You will have to make the decision if it's still negative. In a growing economy, you can expect inflation to be about 3% a year. If you use that figure, then in about 3 years, rents would be about 10% higher. Would that put it in a positive cash flow? To me, just 3 years to be in a positive cash flow with a home in a desirable and appreciating neighborhood is probably too good to pass up. Just what is meant by cash flow? Well, cash flow is the cash you have left after the mortgage payment, insurance, and taxes are taken out of the monthly rent. Would maintenance and repairs be taken out also? Well, that depends. If the repair was actually a renovation, no. If the repair was something that broke after the home was occupied and had to be fixed, yes. Renovation expenses should actually be added to your initial investment in the property, called the basis of the property. The IRS views replacing something that broke and then repaired as an expense that you can write off. Expenses are deducted from your rental proceeds. Renovations or improvements to the property are not, according to IRS rules. For example, if you decide to get rid of the window air conditioners and a wall furnace and replace them with a central air conditioning system, that would be part of your initial investment in the property or the basis. The IRS refers this to an improvement. Quote, this improvement will be added to the total basis or the cost of the property. Determine your total basis or total amount you have invested in the property. Your accountant will set up depreciation schedule based on these improvements as well as depreciation schedules for all the properties you acquire. Discuss this with your CPA. Remember, that's why I told you to have one. You're going to have questions like this. And calculating cash flow, the mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance are a known quantity, which makes cash flow easier to determine. If you want to throw in maintenance costs and vacancy rates, that complicates things. You could assume maintenance cost of 1 month's rent or vacancy rate of 1 month. So now you're down to 10 months a year of income. The last two numbers are just wild guesses. Personally, I don't use them. Sure, I've had maintenance costs that exceeded a month's rent and vacancy rates more than a month. The problem with this, you're using numbers that are not guaranteed. They could be much lower or much higher. For me, to get a reference on cash flow of the property, I disregard these. Cash flow is just an indicator of the probability of your investment. It's not a sure thing. Didn't I tell you that already? A better guide might be to set a standard of how much positive cash flow per month would make you comfortable and how much negative cash flow would make you uncomfortable. By just using the rent income, mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance on your calculation. Oh, let's see here. How much cash flow is necessary for a successful investment? And when is the lack of cash flow time to walk away from the investment? Each individual has his or own idea of sufficient cash flow. That'd be like asking me how much you want to earn a month to be comfortable. I know what my number is, but I don't know what your number is or anybody else's. Each individual has their own expectation of income and cash flow they desire. It's possible if you own several properties that some will have positive cash flows and some will have negative cash flows. If you added them up, I hope you'll come out more positive than negative. As long as you have income from some source to cover the negative cash flow, then you're okay until that source is no longer available. All right, we'll continue this in part 2 in a later video. Bye.